All right, quick episode. I'm just doing this one because I haven't posted in a while. Mainly just been driving, kind of driving around, enjoying things, uh, logging stuff for the tuner. Just kind of getting those last little like kinks worked out. Motor's running good. Everything seems to be in order with the oil issue. Haven't had any spikes or anything, or I should say dips in the oiling system at all. So I think we can consider that good. I'm not really sure why this is washing out a little, but yeah, I think I've put maybe 1,500 miles on it since putting this thing back together. I did go up to the mountains, did a couple little long trips, nothing too major, just some kind of gravel roads, just giving her a little shakedown, seeing how everything is kind of doing, mainly because I had the suspension apart too. But yeah, the main thing I wanted to hit in this episode is just kind of show you how everything's doing. And I did want to go over kind of, I think the last thing I had updated on was my drive shaft for the front. So I have the new one installed, or I should say modified one installed. So this was my original drive shaft. Not original to the Colorado, but original to my modified one. And if you remember, I had the angle issues up here with the adapter and the U-joint setup. So I went to my local drive shaft company. I actually bought a brand new Colorado drive shaft for the front, and he was able to lop that off and basically slide the CV joint from the factory Colorado into my modified drive shaft and weld and balance that. So it's installed same exact way as the factory Colorado on the diff side. So yeah, this has been pretty good so far. Spin it around. But yeah, so now we don't really have to worry about what angle this is because the CV will allow different angles for the double cardan and this joint here, and then it still has some slip there. This is a plunging CV, so it has a little bit of play in it, so the drive shaft can move back and forth if needed. It obviously doesn't because we have a fixed diff. But go over a couple little things that I found. So, those that remember, I put this brand new front diff housing in here. And as you can see, I don't know what happened, but let me see if I can zoom in on this. But there are some cracking occurring on this seal. I'm not sure what caused that. I do not remember it looking like that when I installed it. This gets, kind of hammered. This is metal. So it is basically cracked metal. Oh, you could see it's done it in a few places at the bottom here. The problem is that's not necessarily a big deal because the seal is actually behind that on the part that goes into the diff. The issue is that it's actually leaking. It's not a lot. You can kind of see some of it coming out. But yeah, it leaks. Not a ton, but enough that I'm going to have to probably pull the front diff and replace that seal. I'm probably going to do it I guess you could say, get by way. This is the front diff. It's not on all the time. So likely what I'm going to do is I'll probably pull the diff out just because it is easier to deal with that. But I'm going to pull the diff out and basically just pull that pinion flange and bolt off, replace the seal, and then reinstall it, trying to match the preload that was on it before. I did buy a nicer dial torque wrench, so I could actually figure out my assembled preload that's currently on it, and I should be able to match it pretty close when I reinstall that with the new seal. I'll dig through some parts. I may actually have an extra seal laying around. I do buy extras quite a bit, so I'll do that before tackling that. It's not like drastically leaking. I mean, it's just kind of like seeping out. I have never seen a spot underneath. I just happened to be looking underneath, kind of getting ready to film this video and noticed it. So we'll get that fixed, and then yeah, that's pretty much it right now. I did film a little bit for my rear thrust block video. I'm going to try to post that probably around the same time as I post this one. That will not be part of the episodes because that's kind of a separate thing, but I did throw the bronze thrust block in the rear end, and I've been testing it now for probably a good 500 miles so far. My plan is to drive it about another month, and then pull that fluid and kind of see what the fluid looks like, and then check that thrust block, refill the fluid, and then kind of go from there. I'm still waiting for another e-locker. They've been on back order forever. I was supposed to get one on mid-June, and it got pushed to August now. So I'm not sure when I'm ever going to get that, but I do plan to rebuild the rear. That aluminum thrust block just seems to have done quite a bit of damage. I've got some, when I took it apart to do the thrust block, I could see some wear issues due to all the aluminum in there, and I'd rather just redo the whole thing and get that working well. So we'll work on that once I get the new e-locker. I did put the factory skid back on the transfer case. It was the only thing, besides I do have a diff skid too I need to throw back on, but kind of waiting on that since I'll be pulling it for fluid and I'm doing the testing. But I did buy an AEV transfer case skid, and it will not clear. I cut it to kind of clear my exhaust. Excuse my horrible welding. I know it's bad, no need to comment. But I did trim it out to fit, but the bars will not go over this. Basically the bar that goes across here, it hits right here. There's no way I'm gonna have to completely modify the bars. So back to the drawing board on skids. I wish I would have moved this, more in the stock location. I thought I was close, or at least close enough, but it's looking like I'm probably about maybe 2 inches towards the rear than what I should have been. I think I took some measurements, but then I was trying to tuck it as high as I could because I think I've shown in other videos, I'm actually lower. My exhaust is actually lower than this cross member. So I was trying to tuck it, as high as I could, which means I had to cross the transmission pan back here. If I were to move it, 2 more inches, this would actually be even lower. And then I might be hitting the bar anyways. So kind of back to the drawing board on skids. I may look into the 589 set. I do kind of like the way those look. They look like they hang a little low, like they might actually clear underneath all this due to the way it's constructed. But I'm going to see if I can get some dimensions of them, and then, you know, I might have to trim where this crosses over, since it'll be a little farther back than stock. But I think I can make those work. So we'll see about that. Let's see what else. Other than that, I don't think I really have anything new. Like I said, I've just been basically driving it and enjoying it for a little while, and really haven't done much else. Tunings. Oh, I did. So I was having a couple issues with the tune when decelling and coming to a rolling stop. It was kind of hesitating on what gear it wanted to be in, and my tuner was trying to tune it, and it was like not really getting anywhere. And come to find out, I actually had a code that wasn't triggering a check engine light at the moment, but I was getting a transmission communication error and a temperature sensor error. So apparently the transmission temperature sensor, there's a table where, based on what the temperature of the fluid is, it will change some of the shifting characteristics based on basically how heated up the fluid is. So what I ended up having to do is I had to put a new sensor in. That's what this box here, to get the sensor, you have to buy a whole new harness for the valve body. It was only $25, so not too bad, but you do have to drop the pan and all the fluid. So basically did another fluid change. Kind of a bummer having to buy all new fluid again, but I wanted to get the new sensor in there. And I did notice once I saw the code, I was driving it around and my temperature was all over the place. I mean, it could be 80 degrees outside ambient and my temperature would say it was 40. Not really sure how that is, because it can't be below ambient, or at least that much below ambient. It's just defies the laws of physics. So obviously there was an issue with the sensor. And then driving around, it would bounce from like 50 to 120 back down to like 40. And so like all of that is changing, kind of the shift pressures. So, wanted to get that fixed. And once I fixed it, it seems to be doing a whole lot better. And that rolling stop kind of hunting for gear seems to be, getting better now that we're messing with the tune now. Let's see what else. I think that's pretty much it at the moment. Like I said, I'll get that thrust block video up around the same time as this, if you want to check that out, if you're interested in the bronze thrust block I've covered in previous videos, and what it looks like to replace that. Yeah, if that works out after I do some more testing on it, I'll probably start posting that for sale. But I think that's it for now. If anybody has any questions, go ahead and comment. And as of right now, I'll see you guys on the next one. All right, real quick, I know I said I was going to end the episode, but I just wanted to show real quick, ever since I replaced that sensor, I just started the truck, and as you can see, we're at 82, 80, ambience 80. So, before, when I was talking about that transmission temp sensor, I could get in this truck and that would be like 40 with the ambient being, 80 to 90 degrees. So obviously there was definitely something wrong with that temp sensor, but that's fixed. Seems to be shifting better.